2010. We're all going to say the best superhero movie at the same time on the count of three. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
That's what really frustrated me about it.
Yeah.
I guess it's like the concept of the movie is flawed in general.
It gave us the best Batsuit ever, still to this day. The thing is,
You must not have seen the Batman. I definitely wouldn't have put it on my honorable mentions because I do not respect Aquaman the movie.
I think you guys are wild.
Welcome to Backseat Directing,
Where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
we're your hosts,
Andrew.
and Aaron.
And we post new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're going over the best superhero movie from each year from the last decade.
3, 2, 1, action.
Zach, welcome back to the podcast. We've finally gotten to the point where I don't even know how many episodes you've been on.
Me neither, but I love being here.
That's great.
I thought you were going to say we finally got to the point where we get our intro right on the first try.
That also.
You guys
That
are
is
doing
also
good.
Zach's
true.
mind was just blown.
These guys are professionals.
We really are. Okay, so we had that idea to go over each of the past. We're going to do 13 years. So
Don't be humble. You had the idea.
Okay. You're right. I had the idea to go over the best superhero movie from 2010 all the way to 2022. So we found a website courtesy of Andrew that is called Flights, Tights, and Movie Nights.com. What a title.
That is a good name.
And they had a list of every comic book, every superhero movie, even some that we aren't necessarily considering as superhero movies.
Ant Boy 2.
Comic book.
Yeah.
Zebra Man 1.
Yeah, that they had on here. But basically, each year we're going to pick one movie that we like the most. We're all going to say it at the same time, so we aren't influenced by either one of the other person's picks.
I feel like I'd be most likely to be influenced in the opposite direction. I'd be like, oh, they both picked a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I gotta be different.
I gotta be edgy.
Exactly. So we'll say it at the same time, see what each of us said. But then there's also one little twist in there that Andrew will explain.
So just to add a little element of flair and fun for this episode,
Be edgy.
Two Truths and a Lie style, we're gonna have one of these years where each of us will pick a fake choice and try to slide it by the other two. But each of us gets one guess on what year the other players are lying at. So I get one guess for if I think Arron is lying that year and one guess for if I think Zach is lying that year. After I've made that guess, I can't for the rest of the game take a guess. And that should be a lot of fun because I think we know each other pretty well, but we're gonna put that to the test right now.
My trouble is going to be knowing what the other movies are that year.
Yeah, we have to keep track of that in our head.
Yeah,
because that's what we're really going up against. It's
I got notes though.
You might like Deadpool 2, but what else came out that year?
Right.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Right.
That's I don't know all.
But we only have till the end of that round to guess. So if by the end of if we're moving on to 2017 and that person hasn't been called out, then they're going to let us know the truth at that time, and they survived.
Yep. Okay, so for some of the years, I have the top three,
Right.
I have.
Oh, I did
a
honorable
few
mentions.
listed,
I did honorable mentions for every year.
And then some of the years I was like, wow, none of these were that good. And then there was probably 3 years for me that I was thinking, wow, I really don't know which one I like the most. It could go either way, just depending on when you ask me,
I'm still on the fence about some of these picks, just looking at my list down on my phone here. But I definitely think that 2018 is the peak year for superhero movies of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That was
hard,
fun.
it's hard to argue otherwise.
All right, let's start. 2010. We're all going to say the best superhero movie at the same time on the count of three. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Under
Megamind.
the Red Hood.
Nice.
Megamind.
So I haven't seen Batman Under the Red Hood.
Oh, you're missing out.
It's kind of a lean year. So my honorable mentions were Crisis on Infinite Earths, Megamind, Kick-Ass, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which are all great movies, but it just didn't have as many picks as some of the other years.
I think I know one of Aaron's honorable mentions.
What's that?
Jonah Hex.
No.
No, I thought you said you liked that movie a long time ago.
I had Megamind for my first one, and then Iron Man 2 as like an honorable mention because I haven't seen a lot of the DC animated movies, and the ones that I have seen have come out before 2010.
Nice.
Well, Under the Red Hood is also you watched The Long Halloween, right?
Yeah.
So this came out after. I really love Batman Under the Red Hood. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show before, but it's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. Like, even though it's not Mark Hamill or Kevin Conroy with the roles of Joker and Batman, John DiMaggio and Bruce Greenwood absolutely killed it in their place. The story is really, really well written. It's very faithful to the Under the Red Hood comic book, and like the action sick. Plus, just I've talked about before, like the emotional development of like Bruce fighting his former disciple Jason Todd. Like there's so much because like he doesn't want to hurt him. I think Under the Hood is to me like the second best villain after the Joker, and the Joker's still heavily in that story.
Is this the one that we watched at my house after work that one day?
I would have had you watch it if I had my pick of the litter. This is the first one I would have had you watch.
Yeah, so I might have seen this one actually.
Doesn't bode well that you don't remember. I watched it.
My favorite part is you're kind of just mentioning it, but the fight that Joker is present for
At the end,
yeah,
with
that
Jason
fight
Todd versus Bruce.
that fight has got a lot of weight to it, and then of course Jason Todd's death is got a lot of weight to it as well.
My little like youthful mind in whatever age I watched this, because it came out 2010, was my like mind was blown. My jaw dropped in the scene where he's like doing like analyzing the video footage, and he's like, "You haven't lost your touch, Bruce," and I was like, "What? What? Who knows he's Bruce Wayne?" It's a really good movie with like some good twists and turns, and there's like a lot of emotion in there.
There's a Nightwing appearance too, right in the beginning.
Oh yeah, Nightwing's in it a couple times.
Yeah, I love a good Nightwing appearance.
Yeah, he's in it like halfway through the movie here, so he gets injured. But I'm not calling you guys out right now. So are you guys ready to
move on?
Yeah.
2011.
I can attest that Andrew's not lying about this one.
Yeah, I believe both of you.
This might be the movie that Andrew and I have talked about the most in all the years of us knowing each other.
Yep.
I love this movie, and I'd be selling it really well if this was my lie. I think Megamind's a really good choice. I mean, it's a little iffy. Like, I could call you on this one, but I think it's... I know you like Megamind. We've talked about it on the show before, actually. Yeah. Megamind's hilarious.
Presentation!
It's honestly kind of an underrated movie.
It really is.
It's really, really good. Incredibly hilarious. The cast is stacked, like Brad Pitt, Will Ferrell, Jonah Hill, Tina Fey. I sounded like I said Tina.
Tina did. All right, so 2011 then? No one's calling me out?
Let's do it.
No.
All right, 2011 in 3, 2, 1. Captain America, the First Avenger. Andrew?
I thought you were counting down the switch over.
What do you mean the switch over?
To account for the fact that we weren't calling each other out. I picked X-Men First Class.
First Class is really good. It is, but I don't think it's as good as Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah,
Captain America: The First Avenger is a movie that gets better to me upon rewatch. Definitely adds value to it.
I've seen it.
Like the continuation of the MCU continues to add value to like where it started. But X-Men First Class to me was like the movie I definitely liked more the first time I watched it, and I'd say it's still the case now. Yeah. I love the origin. Like these new actors, they got to play these iconic characters. Normally, you'd be like, ew, gross, like give me Patrick Stewart back, but James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are stellar. They're so good.
Yeah, for characters who I didn't even know about, but then seeing that movie, I was like, man, these characters are awesome.
I thought Darwin was so cool.
Darwin.
I was pissed when Darwin died.
I know.
It was like the coolest power, and he died.
Yeah, they had definitely a good cast and interesting and cool characters.
Also,
I didn't even know. When I first saw it, I didn't even know that Cyclops had a brother.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. It's such BS that Darwin dies, honestly, too, because apparently in the comics, there's points where he's about to die and he literally just his power teleports him to another place. Or there's one point where he's about to die and I think he like becomes the god of death or something. Like his evolution is like next level to never ever like die, but then they kill him like super quick.
Yeah, I like a lot of the movies and different parts of X-Men, but for me they're kind of hard to follow because I don't think I've watched them all in order.
Yeah,
and it's been a while since I've seen some of them. Some of them I've rewatched.
These timelines get so confusing.
It's really hard. It's really hard to follow.
Reference, bro.
Yeah, no, but I think I don't know if I'd say X-Men First Class is my absolute favorite X-Men movie because I think Days of Future Past is like top tier. But
Giving
First
hints
Class
for
is
the
definitely
future.
up there, man. It's awesome.
Ending is so crazy. We get to see how Charles Xavier got paralyzed. That crazy scene where Magneto puts the coin through Kevin Bacon's head. Also, Kevin Bacon's power in that movie is sick. The ability to absorb and redistribute energy. Such a cool power. So useful. I'm not calling you guys out on this one.
Yeah, I love Captain America and the first Avenger movie. A lot of people I talked to kind of diss that one, but I've liked it ever since I first saw it. I think it's awesome. Just the way like Chris Evans acts and plays that role. I love it, you know?
I remember leaving the theater and being like, is Chris Evans actually that jacked?
Right.
Like, which part was CGI? Like,
No, for real, it looked so good when he was the smaller version of himself.
It really did.
You're like, hold on.
yeah.
With this?
Yeah.
It's like, I know he was like kind of toned, you know, playing like the Iron Torch or the Torch.
Human Torch.
Yeah,
Human
Human
Torch,
Torch and stuff, but he definitely bulked up for this.
Oh, yeah.
For
Well,
this
just
role
seeing
here,
like
Captain
seeing
America.
him, the shape he's in is like so crazy that's what makes you think like is this
isn't real, right?
He's like,
Come on.
nobody's pecs are like that. Like, come on.
Yeah, man, he is.
The
looked good
angle
in that
definitely
movie for
helped
sure.
out though too. You know,
like
shooting
down
from-
angle, yeah.
squeezing his arms together, you know, popping the pecs.
All right, you guys ready for
I had an honorable mention for this one.
Oh,
for this
yeah.
year, 2011. Green Hornet, not Green Lantern.
I rewatched that. I rewatched.
I love Green Hornet.
This episode's gonna be so long, first of all, but I rewatched that movie as an adult, and I was like, God, it's not funny, and the action's not very good. I did not like it.
I thought you were gonna say totally the opposite.
No.
I thought you were gonna say you liked it too.
Christoph Waltz can't even make that movie good. He's like cheesy.
Whether it be my mask or your blood, whatever he says.
Red would be the last thing you ever
Yeah.
see. Something like that.
I don't know. I love that movie. There's definitely. I mean, it's been a while since I have seen it, but I just think that it's super like entertaining to watch. When I was a kid, that's one of the movies I would just watch here and there, you know. So yeah, I like that movie a lot.
Here, I almost forgot to do my honorable mentions too. So I wrote All-Star Superman and Batman Year One as the ones that haven't been talked about. Which
Nice.
both animated movies, both really good. I love the All-Star Superman storyline. It's fun.
Really got to get on those DC animated.
Dude, for
All the
real.
ones I've watched, I've really enjoyed.
They're
Yeah.
good. All-Star Superman is probably top 10. Top 10 of
I haven't
animated.
seen that one actually.
I was looking for your insurance.
That's like one of the only
I
Superman
feel like it's
ones I
hard to
haven't
keep all
seen.
the titles straight.
Yeah, it
you
can
know,
be.
like
It can be.
Batman
Especially
Year
all
One,
the-
Batman does this, Batman does that.
Oh no, there was more Batman in this list that we looked at than like anything. Batman is
God.
like 10 movies a year animated.
Yeah, for sure. All right, are we ready to move on to a pretty stacked year, 2012?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
ready. I love this year.
All right, Andrew, I'm going to count down from 3. Just explain the rules again.
For anyone that wasn't listening.
We're all gonna say
Andrew.
it at the same time, all right?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Amazing
Dark
Spider
Knight.
Rises. Okay, that time we all three had different. Yeah, so it's getting confusing one at a time.
I said Amazing Spider-Man.
I
Zach?
said Justice League Doom.
And I said The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, nice. So Zach's got an animated, you got DC, and I'm in Marvel.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and call Zach out on this one
Oh,
because this is 2012, and that's the year that the Avengers came out.
it is.
You got me.
And then
I was lying on that. But just for the record, Justice League Doom is fantastic.
oh no, it's really good. I love that movie. I just
Yeah.
think it wasn't good. I'm not sure about Aaron.
What do you mean?
I know you love the Amazing Spider-Man, but Avengers is huge.
Dude, the cinematics and Amazing Spider-Man just like pushes me
I feel like he's
over,
not
just
lying.
over the Avengers.
I feel like he's
I
not
guess I'll
lying.
save it. I know you do really
And,
love
like-
Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It's a great movie.
And I was, maybe it's
And it's
recency
not a great
bias
movie.
too. Maybe
Sorry. I hate the Green Goblin in that.
he's not in
Or
this.
the
That's the second
Hobgoblin.
one. That's
He's
the
not
second
in this one.
one. That's Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh.
Stop playing with the mic. It picks up all those sounds when you're
I'm going to
messing
take
with it.
Zach's mic away, actually, because
Yeah.
he just
I
didn't
thought
know
you said
which
Amazing
Oh
Spider-Man
my
2.
God.
I swear I heard 2 somewhere, but sorry. Sorry.
Man.
But yes, the first one's really good.
No, the first one is sick.
Yeah.
But I was saying that maybe I have like slight recency bias of the Amazing Spider-Man over the Avengers because we just did the episode where
Yeah.
we were arguing the best Spider-Man. So I was watching some of the scenes over again
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the hard years that this was one of the 3 that I put like a little star next to it of like, oh, that one was like a hard decision, you know?
Yeah, I feel like he's not lying.
Just so the audience knows what else came out in that year, I think we should hit the honorable mentions every year. So I'm going to say, we already talked about the Avengers. Chronicle came out that year.
Chronicle's good.
The Dark Knight Returns Part 1, the animated movie, Justice League Doom, Zack said, and Superman versus the Elite also came out that year, which is another great animated movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
You like The Dark Knight Rises more than Avengers?
that was a hard. I was
gonna say,
for me, it was a slugfest between The Dark Knight Rises, honestly, and Chronicle and Avengers, because all three of them are like some of my favorite movies of all time. Avengers, like, I don't know, I just feel like The Dark Knight Rises has like more artistic approach, and like Loki is great. Like,
Yeah, it's really cool when the bad guys are like falling down on their own.
Okay, the choreography's not as good, but it's Nolan, dude. It's Christopher Nolan.
No, I love that movie too. And I didn't, when I first watched it, I didn't notice that. You know,
I
like
noticed it either.
it was after the fact.
But it also
Yeah.
has the best
pointed
fight
out.
scene in the trilogy, which is Bane versus Batman. That
At the end or in the middle?
When he breaks his back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just saw a clip the other day online. It was like me as a teenager watching the fight between Bane and Batman, and it's like that meme of Homelander where he's like he's playing like the music, like the orchestral music. He's like I was so scared. I was so scared for Batman.
is he?
That dude. Oh, and then just the dialogue in that scene. It's like poetry.
Anything Bane says is like, I can probably recite every Bane line.
You were born into the. Oh no, I'm probably fucking up the line right now. I didn't see the light until I was already a man.
Yeah, most of his lines I could probably say word for word. But yeah, he just, the Bane voice I think is so good.
I feel like the dialogue in that scene is what elevated the fight scene, you know, because like we've definitely seen cooler fight scenes
It still looks-
from Batman in other movies, you know, whether it's Nolan's Batman or outside, you know, but I think, like you said, just the narration of Bane like going through and talking basically to himself, you know, because Batman doesn't say anything really.
He also calls it Bruce in that scene too.
Yeah.
Aren't we, Bruce?
I just want it known that even though that movie is my third favorite of the Dark Knight trilogy, it still ranks as my favorite of the year because the Dark Knight trilogy is that good.
You like Batman Begins more?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's crazy too.
That's insane.
It's crazy to me that everyone in the world doesn't also think that.
No, I mean, Batman Begins is okay.
It's fine. Yeah,
It's
phenomenal.
But in my opinion, it's Dark Knight, Dark
fair.
Knight Rises,
Yeah,
Batman Begins.
I agree.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
But Dark Knight Rises still, I regress, is really
good. Yeah.
great
even
movie.
the opening scene with the plane.
Everything-
They expect one of us in the
wreckage, brother.
Just everything he says is just so cool. That whole movie.
Perhaps he's wondering why you would shoot a man before throwing him out
Yeah,
of the plane.
just- it's-
He's
oh,
like
man.
so smart and like just he clearly has like a very intelligent way of speaking. Like the words he chooses, and
How'd they
like
know that
he's so
wasn't Bane?
knowledgeable. You said how'd they know that wasn't Bane, or how did they not know that was Bane? That's
Yeah.
what you're asking.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Because like, they had to put the mask on.
He put the bag on his head and just waited to be picked up, and they were like, "Why would we check?"
Okay. Hey,
But Avengers, I mean, I think
that
it's
was an
hard.
experience.
Right. I mean, there's no live action movie before that teams up superheroes like that. That group shot in New York City when they're all getting ready to fight. God,
So
man,
cool.
that's just
We need to
like,
get like a poster of that.
If I were to do like a top 10 superhero sins of all time, the scene where the Hulk says, "That's my super cap," would have to be in there.
yeah.
Dude, that line is quoted all the time.
I'm gonna get chills right now.
different content.
all the
Yeah,
time.
it's
Yeah.
man. Seeing a team come together and after seeing the movies that like set them up and stuff and actually seeing it, culminate in that movie, like you said, it's an experience. Like,
Yeah.
that's the first time we ever saw anything like that.
It was 9 out of 10 perfection. And that one point that I'm docking off is just Captain America's suit.
that's my favorite suit.
You're crazy.
I
for that.
swear, I said that before.
He's said it plenty of times.
I love
he's
that
not
suit.
lying.
Zach,
Yes,
come on,
dude.
Zach.
Yes.
No
yes.
way.
It's like, that's your lie.
I caught you.
No,
He's wearing
dude.
pajamas.
They look great.
No.
He looks like Captain America. I love Captain America, but all the other suits and not that they're like bad. The stealth suit from
the best one.
Winter Soldier looks
That was
elite,
really cool. Yeah.
and the Endgame suit's really cool. But they're just so like I feel like they're so muted. You know, he just looks like
I like that about it.
I mean, it's fine,
the,
but
the underground kind of.
I love
the
when he
spy
looks like
aspect
Captain
of it.
America.
Imagine if Tony had made him a suit, called it like Iron Freedom or something.
The
would've been
blue,
pretty cool.
the blue in that suit is like perfection.
Yeah, I will say that suit has grown on me
I love that
more
suit.
now than it did when I first saw it. You know,
Plus, that's the America's ass suit, dude.
it is, and maybe that's why it's grown a little more. You know, because they pointed out the good features of the suit.
I just
Yeah.
really love the militaristic adaptations of the suit. Like the
Yeah,
stealth
same.
suit is my far
Even
my
Age of
favorite.
Ultron suit.
Yeah.
That's the second best. in
that
my
one's
opinion.
really cool.
I really like the Avengers,
Avengers,
logo
yeah.
on the side. It's
Yeah.
a sweet touch.
Yeah,
I
very
definitely
cool.
don't hate them, and like I don't hate the other suits, but to me that Avengers suit is the best one.
I think if they're gonna put him in that suit, how's it taken so long to put Logan in the comic accurate Wolverine suit?
I agree.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
I'm not back there making the decision. Everybody would be dressed in their classic suits.
Hawkeye would look stupid.
Are we ready to move on to 2013?
Yes.
All right. 2013 in
I
three.
just want to say that I tricked you guys
Oh,
because I actually chose the Avengers.
nice.
Oh man, that was
I mean,
good.
Dark Knight Rises is elite, so I would definitely wouldn't have blamed you for picking it.
I knew
so.
that I'm such a Batman fan that I could probably get away with that.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that pick. I was,
Jeez, man.
so the truth was, I was deliberating actually between Chronicle and the Avengers because I love Chronicle that much.
Not
Chronicle
even
was
the
really cool.
the Dark Knight Rises wasn't really on your list.
Like I said, it's genuinely my least favorite of the three.
You're wild
So
for
I
that.
do really love it. Like I said, my least favorite of the Batman movies, of the Batman Dark Knight trilogy, is still a great movie.
Right.
But I don't know. It's for me that movie feels really long. Whereas
Yeah.
the other ones don't.
See,
So-
if it wasn't a Batman movie that you were saying and
Yeah.
the
I know.
attention to it, like,
I knew I could get
I
away
would
with
have
that.
known that it was the Avengers because I know that you liked the first one.
But that's what's so tricky about these. Is
Yeah.
some of the years are stacked.
Yeah, so I've got caught lying. Andrew got past us with his lie. So
We're just both hunting Aaron.
Aaron hasn't said yet. I
Gotcha.
caught you guys, so
right,
he's
well,
still got a lie. coming up.
2013 will have to happen after I tell you that I got past you guys too.
Oh, the same round?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Instead of the Amazing Spider-Man, my actual top was the Avengers.
Man, look at us.
Three of us picked the Avengers. I said that I was unsure
You
about
were
that pick.
suspicious. You were, but then I convinced you with
got-
Zach's help.
I got convinced.
Sorry.
I got convinced pretty easily, to be fair, though, because I
Yeah.
know you love Amazing
You
Spider-Man.
really do. And this,
That's a wild assertion, though, to pick that over Avengers. Honestly,
yeah.
I probably definitely should have called you out on that.
The Avengers was right when Zach said the Avengers, and I was like, "That's an experience." I was like, "All right, Aaron, tone it down." You know?
Same as you.
Because I was gonna say like that's probably one of my top two, maybe even my favorite movie theater experience ever. Like it was
Yeah.
just really cool.
Here's the thing, same as you, if it wasn't Spider-Man, I probably would have called you out because
Yeah.
I know Spider-Man's your favorite superhero.
Yep.
And then Andrew is your favorite Spider-Man.
Yes.
And so that's the best of his two movies. So I was like, with all that math, like
Yeah.
that might add up to more than Avengers. So
Man, you guys are sneaky. I suck at lying.
I knew there's no way for that year you were not picking up.
But I'm glad, right? Yeah, yeah. I'm glad we're all on.
Wait,
all
so
Avengers.
we all lied on that one.
No, no,
do you-
I lied on.
No, you lied.
Wait,
You
no.
lied on that one because you said Justice
Oh
League.
yeah,
came
yeah.
out.
You're right. You're right.
Do you
You're
guys-
right. I did lie.
You guys want to add another lie in since we're only 3 in?
I don't know, man. We're already 22 minutes in, and we're only 3 years into our 13-year
All right, let's pick it up.
decoration. So we should kind of move on. All right, 2013 in 3, 2, 1.
Man
The
of Steel.
Wolverine. I knew you guys were
The
gonna
Wolverine.
pick the Man of
Yeah,
Steel.
the lying's over. But yeah, I know you love Wolverine.
Yeah, I do. And I figured this one and Megamind would be my like, you might
Maybe I
think
got-
I'm lying,
yeah.
you know?
The Wolverine is the one in Japan, right?
Correct.
Okay, it's been a while,
Yeah.
a little while since I've seen it, but that one's awesome.
Yeah. Wolverine and Spider-Man were my favorite superheroes growing up. Wolverine's probably the one that I watched the most, like live action stuff. Spider-Man, I more so like played the games and watched the TV shows. So I don't know. This movie was just awesome.
Dude, the scene
I
at
was so excited for this movie, and the fact, like, just Hugh Jackman just ripped.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. I love this movie so much. And I've seen it probably twice as many times as I've seen Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So I just had to have it up just because I enjoy it more.
That
than Man of
movie's
Steel.
fantastic. The scene where he gets like incinerated by the bomb, man, it's such a cool movie. But yeah, Man of Steel for me.
If
is
I were to
just
watch Man of
up
Steel
there.
tomorrow, like, it might jump over the Wolverine. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I know both of these movies are really good. This was another one of those years that I put a little star next to. It's like, I don't know, man.
Is it
This is a hard one.
Yeah.
I had a really, really tough time with this year. This is one of the years I had the hardest choices with, and it was because of the Flashpoint Paradox came out.
That's my honorable mention. I
Yeah.
love that movie too. Yeah.
It pains me not to pick it, but it's just Henry Cavill just puts it just over the edge for me because
Yeah.
it's Cavill. And then like the two scenes, like the scene where he comes after Zod and he was like, what does he say? Is
You
like,
think you can mess with my mother?
Oh my God. And then the scene where plus the whole fight after that, like the train yard and everything in the town street, and then the end fight scene with Zod.
Yeah.
That those two like those things really kind of push just barely, but I couldn't stop thinking about the opening scene in Flashpoint Paradox with where they stop the bank heist.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, I love
Love it.
Flashpoint Paradox.
every
It's so
individual
good.
Justice League member gets their own method of disarming the bomb. It's like so unique to their personality.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've heard a lot about that movie recently, especially with the new Flash movie coming
Right,
out. And I
right.
think I don't want to watch it until I see the Flash because I've already waited this long. So I might as well
Might
just
as well.
wait for the Flash
Couple more months.
because I'm already not that excited for the Flash. So if I watch a movie that is probably going to be better than it, then I'd rather watch that second.
I collect action figures, so it's like every day that ticks by, I get more and more excited for this Flash movie because like Todd McFarlane's doing like really cool stuff for this movie. Like he's doing the Michael Keaton Batmobile and the new version of the Batwing, and so I'm like, I pre-ordered those, dude. I'm so stoked to get those, and it's like just building on my excitement for the Flash.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to 2014 in 3, 2, 1.
The Winter Soldier.
the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Good pick.
Is that what we all said?
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Very nice, very nice. That one was kind of tough. I really like X-Men: Days of Future Past.
That's the reason
my
I-
favorite X-Men.
Yeah.
That's the only
Days
thing
of
that was
Future
in
Past is so
competition for
cool.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my favorite X-Men. So that one was pretty tough, but like Winter Soldier is one of my like top 5 favorite movies ever. You know,
Yeah.
like I
Oh, it's
love
so
that
good.
movie so much.
I actually thought really hard about picking Days of Future Past just because like it's also my favorite X-Men
really
movies.
considered it, yeah.
In a franchise that long, and the Quicksilver scene and like the
yeah.
stadium scene and all
So
these
many good
great
parts.
action
Bishop
set pieces.
too, in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree. I think we've
Yeah.
all said that Days of Future Past is our favorite X-Men movie.
Yeah, so it's our favorite. But then this is my, one of my favorite MCU movies, The Winter Soldier, and I just like the like spy approach.
Yes,
So I
same.
had to go with that. The fight scenes are the fist fighting, like the close up
The hand-
close
hand
combat
combat,
in
yeah.
this movie is like untouched because even when you get to
the knife flip, iconic.
Yeah.
even something like awesome like Bourne or John Wick, like the people fighting aren't superhuman. So
Right.
you got that extra touch where like Cap is sprinting, chasing the Winter Soldier down a hallway, and he uses the shield to like bounce off the wall and
Through the
shatters
wall,
the wall.
yeah.
Like it's like looks like concrete or something. Like that is
Cool details.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
super cool. It's all the superhuman aspects.
That's definitely stuff that we're not seeing in the current Marvel movies or
Yeah.
shows, like that's definitely the attention to detail that we're missing. But the fact that Days of Future Past was like a consideration going against one of my favorite movies, not even favorite Marvel movies, but like movies, shows how much I like that movie too.
Yeah, Days of Future Past is awesome.
I have Guardians of the Galaxy as an honorable mention too. Definitely wasn't in contention to be like in first.
Yeah.
But I still really like that movie.
Definitely. My honorable mention is Justice League War. That movie I thought was really cool.
Oh, that is really cool. I like that movie. It starts off that universe kind of for the Justice League.
Right, yeah, and
Like
you get to
this
see
first
them
meetup.
come together and fight Darkseid and stuff. And the one of the opening scenes with Batman and Green Lantern and Superman is just like incredible to me. I love it.
My honorable mention that hasn't been said so far is Big Hero 6 for that year because
Yeah.
that's a movie that I really love. It's my top 5 Disney Pixar.
I knew for sure that was going to be in
Yeah.
at least your honorable mentions. That movie is really good, but I just
is.
know you really, really like it.
The original Fall Out Boy songs in it are really good. And then like the story's so emotional, like makes me want to cry. And Tadashi is such a good character.
Before we move on to 2015, I want to take this time to thank everyone for listening. If you hear a movie that we missed or or maybe one that you really agree with, leave a comment down below.
Eviscerate us in the comment section.
That's right. We post new episodes every Monday and Thursday, so go ahead and check out the full episodes on YouTube and Spotify.
And we're on all social media platforms, so make sure to check us out anywhere that you guys, any app that you have, check us out on there and stay up to date with our content. Post videos daily, and that way if you subscribe or hit the notification bell, you get notified when new stuff's coming out.
Boom. All right, 2015 in 3, 2, 1.
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
That one was easy. I don't even have any
I have no honorable mentions for that year either.
Yeah,
Me neither. Me neither.
It was a weak year.
landslide.
Weak year.
Yeah. And Zach, where does Age of Ultron stack for you on like Avengers movies?
See, I know a lot of people always say it's the worst one, but I feel like that's not really saying it's bad, because I feel like it's probably because there's 4. So you got Avengers 2012, this one, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame. So if I had to rank them, I would feel like this would be my 4th pick for Avengers movies, but this movie's fantastic. I love this movie so much. Like when Hulk fights Hulkbuster, just so many things about this movie. It's also it's just, I just love this movie.
You want to hear my controversial opinion?
Yeah.
This is my favorite MCU movie.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was on the top of his MCU list.
Lots and lots of people say like negative things about this movie, but I just don't see it, you know?
No, this movie's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with both of you. I don't have it as my favorite, but I had it up there.
This movie has the whole team fighting together in sync, all in their best suits, right at the opening, like Cap hitting using his hammer with Thor's, or using his shield with Thor's hammer. You've got Hulkbuster versus Hulk. Like, this movie has some of the best moments in the MCU. It's just like overhated and slept on. Like, crazy.
I agree.
Ultron's a great villain.
I have my complaints, here and there, like mainly about like Quicksilver, but overall, I just love
the
that
fact
movie.
he died,
Quicksilver could have been done better, but
I don't like the accent for one. But
don't be hating on Aaron Taylor Johnson.
No, I like him a lot. But yeah, also it didn't make sense to kill him off. Like if you are going to kill him off in a way that makes sense. You know, this guy's super speed and he gets shot to death, like not just once. You know, he takes a whole mess of bullets. And
I think it was an emotional, sacrificial moment. Like, I feel like I felt the emotional.
Well, yeah, for sure. I
more
get
so
it,
arguing that he should have just grabbed them.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was one kid that he moves from what I remember.
And Hawkeye.
Oh, and Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Okay, well, still.
So
I mean, why didn't he just end up where they ended up? Like, he like moved them, and either he stopped and they got moved, or he moved them and went back.
They definitely just wanted him to die. Like, they knew the end goal and they wrote to that, you know, instead of.
I just think it was a misplay, because
I think it would have been better if like Ultron killed him like directly, you know, like somehow like tracked his trajectory or something,
like like a sonic pulse or something that like affected had an AOE effect.
Right.
Something like that. But I think it was a misplay, because I personally, super speed is my favorite superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been really cool to see.
So they did you dirty, and that's why you.
Yeah. It would have been really cool to see a speedster in the MCU now. They have Makari now, but for a long time they didn't have somebody with like super speed.
Yeah, as Omni-Man would say, it's not even a premier superhero power. So
I disagree. I feel like it's the best superpower, really, when you start to think about it. But
I mean, if you saw the first episode of Invincible, it wasn't that much the best.
True that, but that's that guy is not as fast as the Flash.
But I thought it was cool to see Quicksilver putting his shoes on. It was like him. Alex Honnold, this rock climber, says when he puts his shoes on, it feels like he's like taking his katana out of his that's when he pulls the shoe out of his bag, and I feel like that's that moment for Quicksilver, like just lacing up his shoes, like that's his weapon, his running.
That's another complaint. I don't like the suits for them either. It's just like
Wanda's suit by Multiverse of Madness is really good.
Yes, but when it starts out, it's just like, oh, it's a red like.
Well, it's the first time. I mean, Spider-Man's suit didn't look good the first time either.
Well, yeah, I hear you, but I don't know. The Quicksilver suit especially, I feel like
Captain America's first suit didn't look that good either.
I disagree. I
guess the first suit in the Avengers. The first suit looked good.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next year.
2016.
Hold on. I gotta double check. Oh, okay.
In 3, 2, 1,
Captain America Civil War. Yeah.
Every time you guys
yeah.
just say the second title, and then when I switch over, now you say the whole title.
I'm saying the whole title every time.
You didn't for Age of Ultron.
I definitely haven't said the whole title every
You
time.
just said Age of Ultron.
I thought Zach said.
Roll
it back.
Both of you did.
Well,
Roll
all
the
right,
tape.
we'll have to listen up to the tape.
But anyway,
Comment down below. What did I say?
we're talking about Civil War. That was our pick.
This is a great Captain America movie.
Oh my goodness.
A great Marvel movie. It's definitely like up there on our listings.
I think it's safe to say Captain America has the best trilogy.
Oh, yeah. I would agree.
Let's see if I can come up with a way to dispute that.
Classic Andrew.
It's definitely true.
This movie introduces Black Panther and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he has the best trilogy for sure. In the MCU.
I feel like they balanced all the characters pretty well in this movie too.
Yeah.
This movie was hype when it was coming out, you know, like this is what I miss about the Marvel movies now. You know, like when they're coming out now, it's like, oh, like
The next one. And then you're waiting for the next one.
Do you guys want to go see Ant-Man in theaters or should we wait? Like, do you want to see it open in weekend or not? Like this one was like, we're going as soon as we possibly can to watch this. You know, like this was peak Marvel.
The team ups used to hit really different. Like I was going to touch on this when we talked about Avengers 2012. That was the first time we really felt it. And then we felt it for Age of Ultron and now Captain America Civil War and then the other Avengers movies. But these team ups used to feel like insane. Like I can't even describe
something crazy is going to happen and this is going to have consequences that's going to leak into other movies.
I was just giddy in my seat to see the interactions between all these characters that I knew that I loved and watching them be on their own for a movie and then seeing them come back together really built that anticipation. And now it's like every movie has at least 2 heroes in it and it just doesn't feel the same as it used to. This was special.
Up to this point too, this is probably the most superheroes in one movie too, so like you said, you know, they balance them all really good and you got to see characters that you've never seen on the big screen interact, you know.
Ant-Man showed up, like Vision's now part of the group. Like there's so many people.
Dude, the Iron Man, Winter Soldier and Captain America fight at the end.
Yeah.
Like
God.
One of the best, if not the best fight that we've seen in the MCU.
The airport fight scene is
that one was awesome too. Yeah. But like just the revengeful nature that Tony Stark had towards both Bucky and Steve, you know, going at him, like it was highly emotional.
Oh yeah,
but very well choreographed too. It was awesome.
I would still say that I like the fight under the bridge better in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Okay, interesting.
I'm
surprised because this has a lot of an emotion to it, and I know you like that.
It just looks so much cooler.
Yeah,
this is probably my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah, this was. I'm pretty sure I drafted this fight on our fight scene draft.
I think
episode.
So. Yeah,
that was the first episode you were on. I'm pretty sure.
This episode has a lot of those really good character interactions, though.
Yeah,
a lot of dialogue between all these characters. It's awesome to see.
Yeah,
honorable mention: Deadpool.
Yeah,
I gotta talk about it.
That's like a perfect casting, right? Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. I don't want to say I considered it for first, but it was hard that it wasn't first.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like I wish it came out like a different year.
No, yeah, that's a good way to describe it because it can't really compete just because of how big Civil War is.
Right.
But it deserves to be said. Like it deserves its participation trophy.
Yeah. Like I don't want it to go away.
Yeah.
You know, like I enjoy that movie a lot.
It changed the landscape, like it, because we had superhero movies that, like, yeah, they can be R-rated or they can be dark, but this was like it can be raunchy, like it can be hilarious, it can be inappropriate, and
little baby legs.
They made it work. Like it wasn't goofy. It was just like I feel like theaters. When you were in theater for Deadpool 1, everybody was laughing. All the jokes were landing in like a crazy way.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Talk about perfect casting too.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, God, amazing.
Yeah,
definitely like top 10 of all time. You know, like maybe even higher.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely like. It almost feels like he is like that way in real life too.
Right, he's just acting as Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly,
he literally is.
You know,
every interview he's in, he's just Deadpool.
Yeah.
Just less
for
extreme.
sure.
Definitely.
I feel like Deadpool also kind of helped indirectly pave the way for The Boys.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
can see that.
it was a movie, so it's a little more accepted that it's in a movie form, and then like it became so popular that I think it made it where Amazon would take a chance on the boys.
Well, and then
you know?
Boys led to Invincible. So,
Right.
like, Deadpool definitely led to... I mean, Wolverine, sure, Logan is bloody, but some of the, like, raunchier content, like we talked about, or some of the inappropriate, like, the drug use, the sexual behavior that's in Deadpool, like, that definitely paved the way for these Amazon video projects that, like, are made some of our favorite shows.
Yeah, for sure.
Happy International Women's Day.
That's Zach's favorite.
I had an honorable mention, and it's Batman vs Superman. I definitely wouldn't pick it as. What, is this not the same year? I thought it was.
I'm just double checking.
Oh, okay, you made me nervous.
Yeah, 2016, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't pick it over Civil War. That's the thing. But I think that it gave us the best Batsuit ever, still to this day. The thing is,
You must not have seen the Batman.
Ben Affleck's suit's better than Robert Pattinson's suit. But
Watch our Batman
anyways,
debate with the three of us.
but anyways, there's just too many negative things about the movie that drag it down. So I can't say it above Civil War.
One character's suit can't bring it above Captain America.
Right.
Martha.
Yeah, just all.
What did you say? It's Martha. It's his mother's name.
My biggest complaint about that movie is Doomsday. I hate that version of Doomsday.
I hate the Martha part. That's.
I can get over.
I thought your biggest complaint was, do you bleed?
Well, that's yeah. I just feel like they wrote Ben Affleck's Batman like so bad, like through all.
I did not like. I mean, I like Ben Affleck. The look is perfect.
Yes.
He's an amazing actor. Like, what? Like,
I think it's just the writing.
That's all I can blame it on.
Yeah, because even not just in that movie, but there's and the Whedon cut, he's like, something's definitely bleeding. Like he just says so many things that it's like
that part is bad.
This
too.
is not good. But visually, I think he has all the
He looks really cool for sure.
best stuff, except for maybe the Batmobile. I'm not crazy about his Batmobile.
And except for the goggles.
Right.
He does
But
have a
that
lot of
first suit-
variety though. I like the trench coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
His
Nightmare.
gadgets look so cool. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen the? I think one of you sent me the behind the scenes, right? For the
Yeah,
grapple gun and all that. Like,
Yeah, I've seen that too.
God, it looks so good.
Arsenal
is.
was awesome. But
Yeah.
let's move on to 2017.
2017 and 3, 2, 1, Logan.
Ragnarok.
You did that on purpose. You're lying. You better be lying right now, Andrew.
I think I missed Logan on the list actually because I didn't even put it in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, you must have. So are you saying Thor Ragnarok for real? I like that movie, just for the record.
I think Logan is a better movie. Which one am I gonna watch more out of like 5 or 10 times? I'll watch Thor Ragnarok more.
Definitely.
You guys just continue. I'm leaving. I can't talk with you.
How many times has this guy watched Logan? I've watched Logan one time since it came out. That was when I saw it in theaters.
Same.
Like, it's slow, it's good, but I just haven't had the urge to rewatch it. That kind of knocks it down a peg for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see where it's like, it's super artistic, and I usually do like those kind of movies. Like, it's the, whatever the, like the Oscar bait style superhero movie.
Thor's absolutely more like fun to watch, and the fact that the Hulk's in that movie and they kind of get to team up is definitely points for it.
I feel like that movie and Age of Ultron are where I like really started to like become more of a Thor fan.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely a close second for me. I think Logan is just kind of crazy. For me, I like the fact that it's up until whatever they do in the future, but that was like Hugh Jackman's last appearance as Wolverine, and it kind of like was a perfect like ending for his character that we've seen him play for so long.
It's like Black Panther 2. It's like the real world events add to the emotionality of
definitely
like the pretend world events.
Right.
I don't know because I think I'm still gonna.
You guys done talking about Thor Ragnarok?
No,
I'm just gonna say that I think I'm gonna stick with my choice of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
Above
it's a good
Logan?
pick. It's definitely a good pick.
What I just said while you were gone is that I haven't rewatched Logan since it came out.
Oh,
And
you
I tried
should.
to. I started it and I was like, kind of just fell off from early.
I've only seen it once as well.
See,
Not that I think it's bad or like too slow to watch
But
or
it's
anything, but it's just
definitely memorable,
you
though.
have to.
If
I have to be in the right mindset to watch Logan all the way through. Need a little
see,
time.
like, I want to relate the feeling that I'm feeling to you, how you feel when I say that about Django Unchained.
But now you finally know what it feels like.
I'm not saying Logan's the best movie on like this whole list of movies that we've been talking about, but Thor Ragnarok is one of the worst movies on this list that we're talking about.
Thor Ragnarok's
so the
a
fact that
great
you're
movie.
picking that,
I feel like you have that one mixed up with Love and Thunder. Because
No,
Ragnarok's
that
the
one's
best
fine.
one.
I don't. That's not even a movie. All right, like that one's like there's whale poop, and then there's
Love and Thunder.
like, come on, dude. Oh man, you guys can't be serious.
Well, Zach,
No, I
Zach
said
still says Logan.
Okay,
But I
because Spider-Man: Homecoming also came out that year. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I know you don't like Guardians of the Galaxy, but still, like Thor: Love and Thunder was your favorite out of all of those.
Yeah.
My honorable mention
Or
was
Ragnarok. Sorry.
The scene at the end of Thor: Love and Thunder where they blare the
Ragnarok?
AC/DC. Sorry, yeah, at Ragnarok where they blare the AC/DC, the lightning fills up in his eyes, and he
Yeah.
like sees his dad like, "Are you the god of hammers?" And he like unleashes the real Thor and blasts away, defeats like fights Hela, and he's like coming down to fight the army of the undead with a trail of lightning behind him. That movie is super aesthetic. Plus the fight at the beginning where he like, I love the creative use of the hammer. He like drops Mjolnir into the dragon's mouth. I wish he had Mjolnir always, but that movie's still really
Amen.
cool. Him learning to fight
But
without
that sets up the love story.
it between him and Stormbreaker. Good God. you.
yeah.
can't believe they
No, I
did that.
definitely understand the Ragnarok pick,
I'll
but
rewatch Logan sometime soon. And
Yeah.
with
I
Logan,
watched it a few months ago. It was good.
I've only seen it once, and I feel like I remember so much of the movie. That's why, that's kind of why I picked it. I've only seen it one time, and it's so memorable. And I told Andrew too that like the fact that that's the end of the road for
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman up until, like I mentioned, the future stuff, whatever they're going to do with him. But that at the time to us was the end of Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. So it was like, I don't know. My pick's still Logan, but Thor Ragnarok's definitely my favorite Thor movie, and I feel like that's a good pick as well.
I love that fight scene in the hallway where everyone's like frozen in stasis because of Professor X, and he's like killing them all one by one. It's a really cool movie.
I feel like you'd really like it on rewatch. Not saying that you don't like
Yeah.
it.
It's
No.
obviously my other pick. It'd
Yeah.
be the contender.
Yeah.
I clearly didn't even write it down, so I would
I feel
definitely
like if you had time
if I had
to
seen it on the
to
list.
like sit down and actually watch it, and you're kind of in the mood, like I feel like it's in line with all these other movies that you really like that are like dark and gory. And,
Yeah,
you
I was
know,
kind of saying that too, but you left.
yeah, because you guys were talking stupid over here.
I think we should talk about Spider-Man at least real quick too.
Yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Tom Holland's first appearance in his own movie.
Yeah.
in the MCU.
I think one of the best scenes in that movie is when the building's on him and he's like, "Come on, Spider-Man," and then he
He
lifts
starts
it.
off with like, "Come on, Peter."
Yeah.
and then "Come on, Spider-Man."
Yeah, very good. And the Vulture I think is really cool too. He looks like scary,
Yeah.
Yeah, when he has the mask on, when he has it off, he's
Oh, yeah.
geriatric.
I agree.
Just wait till you see him as Batman. What? Why is that a thing?
Nostalgia, baby.
older now.
I don't know.
Nostalgia makes dollars.
Michael Keaton is a great actor, though. That's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they're at the stoplight.
Yeah.
and that
yeah.
the villainous glow like red light on his face. It's from the stoplight. It's pretty cool.
Great movie. Great
Yes,
movie.
agreed. Ready to go on 2018?
But I will say that if you watch our Spider-Man debate, you'll see why Tobey Maguire's movies are better.
All right, let's move on to 2018.
2018. Oh, hold on. I have to think about this for a quick second.
Hold on, let me just check.
All right, you're gonna have
Okay,
3
I'm ready.
seconds.
I'm ready to think.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Spider-Man:
Infinity
Into the
War.
Spider-Verse.
I knew this is exactly how this one was going to lay out.
Yeah.
So to be clear to the audience, Aaron and Andrew, picked Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Zach picked Infinity War.
Infinity War. This one was the hardest one.
Yeah.
This was the one that I spent the most time flipping back and forth trying to decide which one I
We
liked
said
more.
at the beginning of the episode that 2018 was the best year for superhero movies in history. Just to recap,
Rattle some of those off for us, Andrew.
Into the Spider-Verse, Death of Superman the animated movie, Avengers: Infinity War, Deadpool 2, Incredibles 2, and even others.
Yeah. There's a lot of good movies this year.
Spider-Man. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse is great, and I love that movie, but I just don't love it as much as you guys do. You guys have, like, you guys like really, really love it.
It's on my wall.
Yeah.
I had to pick it.
So I definitely get you guys choosing that, but for me, Infinity War was like also maybe the first time we really saw the heroes like lose, you know?
Yeah. Dude, when that ended, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it can't end.
Right.
Like, it's not over. What do you mean?
It's almost like how you described Avengers 2012 as an experience. This
yeah.
was an experience.
We all shared like trauma. Like we were all
Yeah.
crying during the Tom Holland scene at the end of the movie.
Yeah, man.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
scene.
It was just such like
It was like, just hold it in.
Yeah.
You're watching a superhero movie. Hold it in. Don't
Yeah.
cry.
I think a lot of times we talk about the experience like going into the theater, like you said, oh, we're definitely going to see this. Like we're gonna go Friday night. This
Yeah.
movie, the memorable experience is walking out of the theater.
Yeah,
Everyone we love just died. This is a crazy movie, and it's to a lot of people. It is definitively the best superhero movie. Like not even just in the MCU, but ever made. But the people commonly think this is the best MCU movie. So I
the
I think
snap was
I think I had this one ranked number 2 on my MCU list.
Yeah.
So like it's one of my favorites, and it just so happens to also be with Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. So it was like, I don't know which one to pick.
there's just so many good scenes. Like one that's coming to my mind right now is when Black Panther and Captain America are running out in front of everybody. It's just like there's so many cool beats in that movie.
someone get this man a shit.
Yeah, it's just there's so much good stuff in that movie. It's like, man, it's really hard not to pick. I get why you guys are pick Into the Spider-Verse, but Infinity War is just like an incredible movie all around, and
It really is.
and like you said, it's an experience to watch it and the emotional impact of, and it knocks it down to almost the original 6 Avengers too, with like Rocket's there and Okoye's there, but mainly the main ones that are left are the original ones.
Yeah, that brings us up to Endgame really, really well. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is just in a league of its own. I mean, it's
very groundbreaking. I mean, it's the inspiration for so many animated styles nowadays.
it literally broke the mold. I saw the trailer
Yeah.
and I was like, that movie looks weird. I don't know if I'm gonna like that.
I
And
didn't go see it in theaters. Like I didn't understand what the movie was about. You know, like it. I don't know.
I did go see it in theaters, even though I thought the trailer, I wasn't like sold on the animation from the trailer. I was left sitting in my seat at the end of that movie just thinking, holy shit, that is like one of the movies I've enjoyed the most in the theater in so long. Like sitting there just thinking, man, that was really good. I love when movies set something up in the beginning and then knock it down in the end. Like I think there's like a literary term for it called like Chekhov's gun. It's like you show like a small detail or something, or like a small line, and just like this movie like hits the emotional weight of that, like his conversations with his dad, or when he's like, I think Miles has a line at the end. He's like, don't watch the mouth, watch the hands. And he's like, how do I know, what if things don't work out? He's like, it's a leap of faith. Like I feel everything they set up being knocked down at the end. I feel the satisfaction of it.
Soundtrack's awesome.
It's beautiful. The soundtrack
Yeah.
is the best of any movie in history, casually. I mean, it's
Man,
so good.
I need to rewatch it. I've only seen it once, and I definitely don't
crazy.
think it's going to be better than Infinity War, but I would like to rewatch it and kind of.
I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times.
I've
Yeah.
seen it probably 3 or 4, yeah. And I think one of the things that I really like about this was the fact that I wasn't expecting it to be so good, you know, and
Yeah.
that it like that kind of elevated the experience, because I had no expectations when I was watching it. You know, I was just watching at home with my wife, and then we ended up being glued to the TV, and we're like, wow, that was like one of the best movies we've ever seen.
Yeah.
This is where I fell in love with movie
Okay.
soundtracks. I put a bunch of songs in my Spotify playlist from this movie, and eventually I would do the same for like a bunch of other movies. When I hear the songs, I realize like, oh, I could take the emotional experience I have from watching this scene, capture it in that song, and then kind of recreate it any time in the day just listening to that song. I started doing that because of this movie.
Yeah, What's Up Danger? I listen to that when I'm working out
All the time. Yeah.
It's
Cat in the Dark is really good. There's a bunch of good songs. Sunflower, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely like see what you guys mean about like breaking the mold, and they did a lot of clever things with that movie, like the animating Miles slower than
Yeah. Slower
Peter.
favorite.
Like that's super clever, because like obviously I'm not a professional, but I would have never thought to do that. Like, you know, to make it like that way, so you kind of subconsciously feel like Yeah, he's just learning, you know.
What I love about it is how much it feels like a comic book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh, yeah.
something that I've appreciated more like now than I did when I first watched it. Because when I first watched it, I wasn't as into comic books.
Yeah, now you read them.
And now I read them frequently
and write them.
Well,
For fun.
trying to.
But they literally use panels on the screen. I love
Yeah.
it. They
And,
use
like,
narration and they use
word bubbles pop
Yeah.
up, and it's just really cool. And like when you have the hit, you see pow and stuff like that. Like it's really cool. But like just the animation style in general, like is being copied by so many other animation studios. Like there's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Mutant
TMNT.
Yes. And that's coming out soon. But one of the biggest hype things that I've heard about it is like, oh, the animation style looks a lot like Into the Spider-Verse.
people
And
just slap their head when they hear that. They're like, so
Yeah.
it looks amazing.
and it's like, so you're using another movie to sell this movie. Like that means that other movie was really good.
Their
Smart,
their
you know?
animations
Yeah.
become like Heath Ledger's Joker. It's like the standard of
Yeah,
something
for sure.
like special and groundbreaking.
Definitely. All right. Should we move on?
Yeah, let me double check
All right.
before you start.
Death of Superman we didn't really talk about, but or Black Panther, which obviously both of those movies I think deserve some conversation.
Yep.
But you know, if we want to move on, we can
And
do that.
Deadpool 2 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Deadpool 2 is great too. Yeah.
There was
Definitely.
so many movies that came out in 2018.
Superman
Yeah.
is, through comics, movies, and television series, everything, I would probably say Death of Superman might be my favorite iteration, representation of Superman.
It for me, like I've always been way more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, and so to see on like to watch the way that the Justice League's getting beat in that movie, like
Curb stomped.
yeah, it
Doomsday.
hurts me to see them losing that hard. Because even in Justice League the animated series and things that I had watched before, I almost didn't feel them losing as hard as watching them lose their, you know.
I'll go home right now and watch Death of Superman.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just talking about it is almost too much for me because I get so passionate.
You want to like stop the episode now and just go?
I will watch it. I get so
All right,
passionate.
thanks for listening. Back to correcting. See you next
pleasure.
Monday and Thursday.
But I really do get so passionate talking about Death of Superman because I feel like that's such a special movie. And
It really is,
It's
yeah.
like really cuts into the emotional core of Superman, his sacrificial nature, and it's like an hour-long fight. Like the whole movie's a fight. It's so stellar. If it was in any other year besides going up against Into the Spider-Verse, it would have easily just crushed the competition. That was the hardest pick for me probably in that year, was choosing between Death of Superman and Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
What would you choose from Death of Superman and Infinity War?
Death of Superman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, I'm telling you, it'd clinch it in any other year. If we picked between all these years of superhero movies, I'd probably potentially pick Into the Spider-Verse as my number one pick. So, like, that's what Death of
Yeah.
Superman's going up against.
All right. Let's move on to 2019. You ready? 2019 in 3, 2, 1.
Avengers
Endgame. Hey.
Wait, have we all agreed? No, we have all agreed on one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that we all lied on.
Yeah. We all agreed on Avengers. We just didn't all say it. At the same time.
Didn't we agree on Age of Ultron too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the third time.
Yes. And it just so happens to be an Avengers movie as well.
Didn't we agree on the Winter Soldier too?
Okay, yeah. Let's not go back to
We've kind of been agreeing a lot.
Andrew just remembers the arguments. That's what he lives for. Honestly.
Trust me, I know, dude. Trust me.
Okay, like
I mean, it was the obvious pick, but let's start with what else came out.
yeah, I had a few other ones on my list. Captain Marvel, Spider-Man: Far From Home, Shazam also came out that year. Obviously, that one's like not in competition at all, but like,
Yeah.
it was a fun
It's
movie.
fun,
good.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you guys think of like? I mean, Avengers Endgame's obviously in front, but did you have any other?
I had Spider-Man on mine. Far From Home. I like that movie a lot.
I've seen that one the least out of all of Tom Holland's
Same.
Spider-Mans. I've
Yeah.
only seen it once. And I remember like feeling iffy about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know.
I really liked Far From Home when I saw it in theaters. I mean,
Yeah.
the quote unquote Peter Tingle scene at the end, despite the cringy name, is really, really epic. And then the Mysterio illusions were just so cool to see.
Yeah.
The glass shattering and the
Yeah.
Tony Stark coming out of the grave. That was all incredible.
I think I was really just hoping
yeah.
for like an in-city Spider-Man, you know, and like we didn't really get it in the first Homecoming, and then we were far from home in the second one.
Yeah.
You know, so like I think I was just expecting something different and just didn't get it.
Yeah.
But
I also had the Joker on mine.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is. you're a pretentious piece of shit for that.
It's definitely not in competition over Endgame, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
I didn't even have that on mine either.
Yeah.
Definitely not in my honorable mentions.
Why don't you like that movie so much? I feel like it's your favorite character, so it's got to be pretty tough for you not to even like the movie at all.
I mean,
you know,
you can look at it that way, or you could look at it like the opposite side. It actually makes it super easy for me to not like the movie because the Joker is my favorite villain, like a lot of people. But my ideal Joker, they're so far off the reservation from. My ideal Joker, I would say, is Mark Hamill's Joker in Batman Arkham City. And it's so good, so perfect for what the Joker is, just chaotic, the clown prince of crime. And then they're like in a completely separate like arena for Arthur. They're like, it's almost like they watched Taxi Driver by Martin Scorsese and they were like, oh, I want to write like a character study like this. So they wrote about a guy like devolving and like has issues with society. And then at the end of that, they're like, crap, nobody's going to see this movie. What if we put the name Arthur Fleck on it and then made it a Joker movie? Now it's a superhero movie. People love those.
you know,
right?
that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, which is
I watched an
fine.
interview
It was still
about
a good
it.
movie.
But
But
they were talking
it's
about
not-
like no one watches other movies outside of superhero movies right now.
It's not true to the character though, and like, yeah, Todd Phillips directed a great movie. Like objectively, yeah, it's well made in terms of filmmaking, but it's like the Joker's name's on it for a cash grab, and that's annoying. Like to me, the coolest
Brought in $1 billion.
the coolest thing about one of the coolest things about the Joker that Chris Nolan understood really well is the mysterious nature to him. Like if you're playing the Arkham games, every character you go into has like a backstory. Like you can like find a tile for them, and every character has a bio. And the Joker's is like question marks. It's
Yeah.
like origin unknown, like place of birth unknown, date of birth unknown, because the Joker is a mystery. And that is what Chris Nolan understood when he gave like the subjective nature to Heath Ledger's Joker with all these different stories of how he got his scars. Any of them could be true, none of them could be true. But they were like, oh, let's do the origin story for the character who, at least in all of fiction, should have an origin story. The point of him is we don't know. It's it's very heavily, in my opinion, in comics too, up until the Killing Joke, where they give him a backstory, but they kind of retcon that in Scott Snyder's comics, where they were like, oh, was the guy under the Red Hood the Joker? Or it could have been any of these other guys under the Red Hood. Like, we don't know the name of the person. They gave him a name, Arthur Fleck. They gave him like a backstory. That's what really frustrated me about it.
Yeah.
I guess it's like the concept of the movie is flawed in general.
I hear you. Yeah. I mean, he is also like, you see in the movie that it's not so clear cut of like, this is his, you know, we don't necessarily know what happened and what didn't happen. Like, we know that there was things that he
Interpreted.
yeah, that weren't true, but we don't necessarily know everything that he interpreted that wasn't true. But I absolutely agree that Heath Ledger, like, I would definitely choose Heath Ledger Joker over Joaquin Phoenix Joker any day of the week. But it just, I don't know, I thought it was kind of an interesting movie. My biggest complaint for it is kind of maybe similar to yours, but I don't like the fact that they are calling it like a DC movie and it's a superhero movie, but I hate when they do that and they don't lean into the superhero part of it. It's like,
It's just the villain.
right, I just watched a movie,
really am
Shazam
tired
2.
of those.
Shazam 2 does that a lot. It's like so many Batman name drops, but it's like he's almost doesn't even exist in the universe because you never
Well, he
actually
doesn't.
get this.
He got fired.
Well, yeah.
Batman got fired.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, oh, here's Thomas Wayne, but
What about how they made Thomas Wayne a villain? That's what I was going to say. Doesn't that annoy
I
you?
also that annoys me too because
Spoilers,
spoilers. Sorry,
guys.
It came out like 2019.
but yeah, I agree because I like the way that they kind of paint
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne in The Dark Knight. Is like he's like kind of like a shining figure in
Wasn't
Gotham.
Thomas Wayne kind of a villain in the Batman?
No, I feel like that was kind of explained away.
Okay.
I like the way that they did that too. Is kind of like
I feel like you could kind of like paint him as a villain in almost any incarnation because
You can paint any billionaire as a villain,
exactly.
right?
That's what I was gonna say. He's a super wealthy guy. You could easily say, like, even in the new Batman, they kind of get a little bit iffy on his past because he like saves a villain and then he's like indebted. You know,
I
what I'm
respect
saying?
that because it's directly taken from the pages of the Long Halloween comic book, and in the comic he only saves Falcone's life because of his oath, like to help people who are, he can't turn, as like a doctor, he can't turn a patient away at his door.
Right.
So I feel like there was like reason behind it. They just kind of had it blurry in the movie, like because it's like an artistic movie.
Yeah.
To be like, oh baby, he was. But that's not the way that I see it. I don't like the Joker.
Yeah. It's definitely not my favorite movie, but I enjoyed watching it.
I can feel it trying to be something.
But we all agree, Endgame, easy winner for this year, right?
Easy dub.
For me, I'm a sucker for a lot of superheroes in one place. And this movie does it bigger and better than any movie has ever done, and still to this day has done.
Do you like Endgame more than Infinity War, or Infinity War more than Endgame?
It's tough. It is tough. I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like I might like Infinity War more, but I feel like Endgame is also super satisfactory.
I like Infinity War more.
So what I will say for Endgame is that movie could have been 2.5 hours of hot garbage, and then they could have showed me the scene where Cap picks up the hammer.
Oh, God.
And I would still probably clinch this year. And on that alone, nothing else really needs to be said about Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Dude,
I knew it.
That was awesome.
God,
for
I
sure.
do love that scene. That scene is like dynamite.
Man. That was good.
Everyone is down and out, and Cap just stands up, and he's the only one, and he's still gonna fight an army.
Let's go.
What's that say about Captain America? That's why I love him so much as a character.
Get chills just hearing about
Dude,
it.
I know. I love it. It's so
On
good.
your left. There's so many good references. They built such a good world.
He's got half a shield left. He's beaten up. He's dirty.
I can
He's
do this
still
all
ready.
day.
I could do this all day. Yeah, man. Oh, God. I'm getting chills now, too.
Oh, dude, the way he delivers Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was riding the high of that even more in the theater. I was riding the high of that line even more than when he grabbed the hammer.
Dude,
honestly. Avengers! And like, Chris Evans is so good. The Avengers Assemble in that scene. Everybody lined up, stacked up, all the like wizards and everything.
Yeah, man.
The more I think about it, the more I think like, wow, like Captain America had a lot of cheesy lines, but they weren't cheesy at all.
Oh, man.
Because of Chris Evans' delivery.
Yes, dude.
He delivered it perfect.
I love
like
Chris Evans.
we were watching John Wick, and we were talking about how like some of the lines were delivered a little bit soft, or like they just didn't land as hard as they should have.
Some X factor. Like,
Yeah, but like Chris Evans took it to the next level, and like these possibly cheesy lines are epic.
His speech in The
Iconic
Winter
now.
Soldier. Zach, actually, there's a line from Cap Zach doesn't like that I love in Age of Ultron where he says, if you get killed, walk it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about that one.
And I think
That's funny.
Chris Evans makes that line so good. Like, it's just keep going.
Yeah, like you
keep going
die,
at all costs.
just keep going.
It'll-
Yeah, I like that. I like that line too.
Tom Holland has a funny like interview story about them shooting that Avengers Assemble scene because Chris Evans kind of whispers it. And if you look at the movie, Tom Holland's like a few people down.
Mm-hmm.
So he in the interviews he's talking about how like in one of the takes he just took off too early and he was the only one that ran way out and they had to walk it back, like walk and shave it back to get in line to shoot it again.
That's funny.
But yeah, dude,
Wouldn't those movies be just so fun to make? Like you have
God,
all the
all
crew
these
come in,
superstars.
like that would have been
Jeez.
a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
I'd be like Ant-Man and when he meets Captain America. I'd be like,
Oh my gosh.
so unprofessional.
All right, let's move on. 2020. You guys ready?
You know me, I got to reference my thing.
3,
Okay, I'm ready.
2, 1. Wonder
old
Woman 1984.
Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
So the only one that I've seen on this list was Wonder Woman. So I feel like I had to choose that.
Yikes.
But like, I want you guys to know how painful it was to have this on my list.
I thought you were making a joke.
This is like as low as like Thor: Love and Thunder. Okay,
Jeez.
like this is not a good movie.
Just to recap again, Aaron picked Wonder Woman 1984.
Aaron had to write.
Zach picked Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, the animated movie. And if you guys will let me, I picked the Old Guard because I feel like they're basically superheroes. They have a comic book. They have the power of like immortality, regeneration.
I've never
That's
seen
like the
that.
power.
But
In any other year, no, that would not count, Andrew. Okay, but in this year, if it got you out of saying Wonder Woman 1984, bravo.
If you wouldn't let me pick it, I would just also pick Dark Apocalypse War because I have seen that movie.
But you don't like it?
No, I like it. I just feel like it was meant to be like an Avengers level event for the animated universe, and I just didn't feel the same connection to it.
yeah, I mean, it is their end game, but
Kryptonite Superman looks awesome.
oh, yes, he
And then
does.
the fight at the end has a lot of epic moments. There's like Morbius chair Batman. There's all kinds of cool
Yeah.
stuff.
So you guys know that the Flash is my favorite superhero.
Yeah.
So
Who's
for
the Flash?
me, shut up. For me, it's really satisfying to see that stretch of like 14 movies was birthed from Flashpoint, started with Barry Allen, and then it ends all the way the same way it began, with Barry Allen having to reset the timeline. Sorry, Aaron, I just realized you haven't seen this
It's okay. I'll
but
probably forget, and then by the time I watch it, it'll be all new.
there's a lot of like darker stuff in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Superman forced
I
to walk
really
the
want to
earth.
say lots of things, but I really don't want to like ruin it for Aaron.
He'll forget. Hopefully.
But
The more we say that I'll forget, the less I'll forget.
the
So,
way
you
that
won't
Batman has to hold Damien in his arms.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's just there's a lot of good stuff. But for me, the main thing is that it's the ending of that set of movies, and it's ending with the Flash, and that's exactly how it began, was with the Flash.
There's a
And,
huge epic fight at the end.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
movie, like a long fight.
and some characters too get the spotlight that
Constantine's in there.
that don't always get the spotlight. So I thought there's definitely a lot of cool things in that movie.
And I don't know if I have talked about this on the show, but I love The Old Guard. It's one of my absolute favorite Netflix original movies, and I did talk about it. I think I talked about it when Keegan was here. Or when Corey was here. I talked about it. The Old Guard is like really, really cool. It's probably my favorite movie with Charlize Theron. Hancock's really good. Have neither of you guys seen it?
Italian Job. No, I haven't seen it.
Italian Job. The Old Guard, definitely if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's like about these people that basically obtain just naturally have immortality, and they have lived for thousands of years. So there's this deep emotional backstory to the character, kind of
Oh,
like
I've seen the
Omni-Man.
Eternals. Yeah.
Kind of like Omni-Man, where like he's lived hundreds of human lives, so he has all these long-term relationships, stuff that humans like generally can't understand. So there's a lot of complexity, and then the action's just absolutely sick.
I had an honorable mention, but I feel like you haven't talked about your favorite movie. Yeah.
He's okay.
No.
movie? No, I feel like I've already trashed enough movies for one podcast.
Yeah.
It's already negative enough. So
I like
if
Cheetah.
you have what?
I like the cheetah in that movie.
You like
Okay, let's go on to 2021.
Wait. I have an honorable
Okay,
mention.
all right, let's hear that.
Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
I love that movie. Andrew watched the Tomorrowverse movies on my recommendation because I thought they were so good.
It's a good rec.
I think it was like a good kickoff of the new set of DC animated movies. I think they handled Superman really good, and the way that they put in like Martian Manhunter and the way they use him, and then the way they use Lobo. I just think it works really well.
The plot twists were so obvious, but I still didn't see them coming. So I feel like made the movie still
I was
entertaining to me.
like, spoiler alert.
Nah, come on.
Okay.
We'll not say it.
Jeez, come on, man.
Those movies aren't that old.
Cheers.
But I will say, to make myself not sound like a fake DC fan, Zach's recommendation is why I watched them at the time that I did, because I was kind of not watching those movies for a while. I
Yeah.
probably at some point would have watched them eventually, but Zach was like, "These are good. You gotta check them out."
Well,
So
it took me a little while to watch them too, because I was like, they ended the Flashpoint timeline, and I was like, I don't really care about this new stuff. But then I watched the first couple, and I was like, holy smokes!
I actually really like the animation for these new movies.
Me too.
I love like thick lines, like we talked about,
Yeah.
making that like
Long Halloween.
The trailer.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Yeah.
The trailer, I was like, I hate this new animation because I liked the old one so much. But after watching them, I was like, it grew on me.
Yeah, it
like you
grows on
said,
me a
yeah, I love it now. Like I can't wait to see the newest one. I haven't watched it yet, but it's the Legion of Superheroes one.
We'll have to make a day for that. Maybe Aaron can catch up. I'll watch it.
Sounds like
Are
a
we ready
plan.
to move on?
Yeah, let's do it. We got 2021 happening in 3, 2, 1.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, we have to read a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's an easy dub for that year. Even though I do want to pay respects to my man Shang, my man Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah, great movie as
that-
well.
I
Definitely.
really did consider putting that one ahead of No Way Home. But
You
I
also
think
really like the Eternals, don't you?
I do, and that's on the list.
I like
here.
the Eternals as well.
I like the Eternals a lot more than I think most people do.
Yeah,
But
I'm in that boat.
I really like the Eternals. I thought it was fantastic.
I liked it more when it came out. Maybe I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. Icarus was really cool. We just got to see a lot of superpowers that we haven't seen. They were all new characters, but I feel like they balanced all the new characters really well. We got to know them all really well.
I
for
agree.
how short of time that we actually got to interact with them.
For how many characters there were,
There's even more than Guardians.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
And these are also characters that I'm sure other people knew, but I didn't know anything about. And like you just said, you get to know them well enough to where you're rooting for them and you actually like these characters.
And this was like
what amazing actors.
Yeah.
All of the Eternals.
Yeah.
It's an insane cast when you look at it.
Yeah.
Huge names
And like
and
I
really
didn't see
talented
the
people.
twist of Icarus happening either. Like
No,
it was
me
just
neither.
I really liked this movie a lot.
I'm not going to be able to recite all these, but Angelina Jolie, Brian Tyree Henry,
Barry Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan, right? Who plays Cersei? She's a really talented actress. Also, Richard Madden as Icarus.
I think she kind of has like kind of a really unique name. I can't remember what it is though.
Yeah, there's some really stacked talent in this movie.
Yeah.
and it was good. It was a good movie. I've
And this
seen a
was
lot
like-
of hate for it since
This
it came
was like, especially in what is this phase 5, phase
This would've been
4,
4, yeah.
phase 4. Like the animation and special effects still looked good. You know, like after these,
They were kind of
movies,
doing the blob villain though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the one thing that was chasing them was like the amorphous blob villain.
Sure.
That's where that
Sure.
maybe is around the time that started.
Sure. But yeah, I really like the Eternals. Shang-Chi, amazing movie
Dude, the
again.
fighting in that movie.
Yeah.
And what's
So
crazy is like he's doing it. He's like actually doing it. You know,
Cool.
it's
Doing
not
a lot
like
of it, yeah.
it's not like it's not even like a stunt double.
Yeah.
You know?
Simu Liu is the man.
Yeah.
Since I like him, that probably means he's about to get canceled soon.
God
Something's probably gonna happen. Come on, Simu.
We're room for you, man.
Now he seems like he's genuinely a good guy.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean,
It
who
always-
knows? I never met him, but
It always seemed that way.
even in his interviews and stuff, you know, he seems like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that it is so cool to see him on TikTok on his social media pages too, because he does like choreographed stuff on there, and he's just a really, really talented stunt worker on top of being an actor. What was it called? The bus scene or the whatever you would call that?
Yeah, it's like a
transportation?
city bus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that scene's sick. So he's
Dude, when he kicks the two guys in the head.
and the acting really sells for me too. Like when that scene starts out, and the look on his face when they hit Katie, is her name, right?
Yeah.
When that dude like pushes Katie, the look on his face is so dead serious. I
I feel like I want to rewatch it. I'm rewatching Phase 4 right now. I got 2 episodes left of Loki, so I can't wait to get to Shang-Chi.
And then when he's yelling at his dad too at the end, when he's yelling at Wen Wu,
Yeah.
oh man, it's
And the
really
dragon
good.
looks so amazing, except for in the one scene when
Where he steps off it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
it looks really bad. But the dragon looks amazing.
Dude, the
man.
fight scene with him and his dad, they both have the rings, and then like Shang like is like taking the rings from his dad.
It was really cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
But I like the emotionality of that scene where they're in that pitch of grass and he has like the staff and they're yelling at each other, like talking about his mom. Like imagine if she could see it. It's like this is emotional, like in the middle
Yeah,
of this fight.
that movie's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I looked back at our MCU rankings and I have Shang-Chi above No Way Home. So like it really
Yeah.
is kind of like
Could go either way for you.
Yeah.
but
We haven't really talked about No Way Home.
yeah, No Way Home, I mean all
Come
3
on.
Spider-Mans. I mean
It's so hard not to say
like
it.
again, movie theater experience. Like this is up there in the top 5 for me. Like,
Bro, when Daredevil showed up,
Yeah.
my jaw
No, it was-
hit the floor so hard.
there was so many rumors about this movie of like what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I didn't think any of them were going to be true.
Dude,
and
I-
if they were, the ones that we wanted the most weren't going to be. But then Daredevil showed up.
Dude.
And then Andrew Garfield showed
Again?
up. And then Tobey Maguire showed up.
Charlie
you know, like,
Cox, that's another dude I would kiss on the mouth. Love him.
right behind Zach Cook.
right behind Zach Cook, and then Chris Nolan, and then Charlie Cox. I love Charlie Cox to death, and seeing
Yeah,
him
man,
in
he's
this movie
awesome.
getting to be Daredevil again. When not only do I know how much that means to like me and the fan base, but how much it means to him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can tell he genuinely loves playing Daredevil. And it's
Yeah.
so cool to see that, like, when an actor is also invested in the character, that makes you, like the character and like the actor so much more, too.
Him and Tom Hiddleston need to push for a Daredevil cameo in Loki season 2.
I'm sure
they're going through.
I'm sure they
they're
can
like
swing
best
it.
buds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think No Way Home is really good because of the nostalgia, though, and because of all these people are showing up. I don't think it's like the best written movie or.
Yeah, there's some definite gaps, and then nostalgia like carries the villains too, and therefore it
yeah.
carries the plot.
Yeah. But like the Amazing Spider-Man going back, like they went out of their way to create a unique cinematic experience when he's swinging and fighting and stuff, you know, like it looks much different than it did in No Way Home. You know, like compare the scene where Gwen Stacy is falling to her death compared to when MJ was falling. Like,
Yeah.
they're not even on the same level.
Right.
You
Time
know,
slows
like
down the web
it's
hand.
not even the same.
Yeah.
Like, and that to me made the scene not hit as hard.
Yeah, it's not
you
even
know,
just-
like, I was really hoping they would take stylistic choices
Mm-hmm.
from the other trilogies and add them in when we see those Spider-Mans, you know, but we didn't get to see that.
They should have called on all 3 directors. That would have been sick.
That would have been really cool.
Man,
Sam
yeah.
Raimi.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I was hoping for in the return of these characters, you know?
that scene that you're talking about is so much more than just like adding extra slow motion. They start like with the shot in his eye and then the reflection out.
Yeah,
of
it's storytelling.
Spider-Man's eye.
Yeah.
And then we all know the unfurling
The
of the
web
web
opens
hand,
up,
like,
yeah.
like metaphorically reaching out to save her. Like it's so good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, leading up to that movie, like it had already kind of leaked that the Spider-Mans were going to be in it, but I still day to day was flip flopping. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Yeah, they're definitely no.
Or
They-
it's like,
they couldn't
okay,
do
they're
that.
going to be in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like
it blew me
an
away.
end credit scene or something.
Something,
you
yeah.
know?
Mine, I was like that Brazil trailer where you see the lizard getting punched. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
who would be punching him? Like who else? Like I wasn't like, oh yeah, they're gonna be in it. Like
Well,
100%.
That only happened in that trailer. So it was like, oh, like that trailer is a mistake. Like his head, it cut off right before that part happened. You know, like it went to a different clip
it
from
was
like, all the
pretty
other
sketchy
trailers.
evidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like
Andrew
oh, like,
Garfield lied so well. He
Dude,
lied his, didn't lie his ass off.
I
he
do
was
love
amazing
Andrew
at
Garfield.
that, right? Like he was
Good
being
choice of words.
Everyone was like, "Oh, there's no way he has to be telling the truth." And after they're like, "Oh, well, he's an actor, obviously." Oh yeah, well now you're saying
that's
that.
still
It was
like
just- yeah,
really
it-
hard
now that he
right?
tricked you.
Like
It
just
was
to
hard
be
to
in your
crack.
everyday life having to deny
Yeah.
for that long, that many times. Like he related it in one interview, like after the fact, he was like, it was like playing werewolf and I was the werewolf.
Yeah,
You know, which is a
he references because I love that game.
Because
Yeah.
we all love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really cool.
But that movie has a lot going for it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's a very very good movie. You get a lot of Spider-Man, a lot of villains.
Yeah, if you guys wanted to watch it right now, like I'd be down. Like it's one of those
It's
movies,
good, man.
you know.
I've seen it a few times. Yeah.
I've
The
seen
only
it
thing,
twice.
the only way we can get more Spider-Man is this summer when we all go to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Buy your tickets.
Yeah. We'll buy
Yeah,
tickets for
adds-
a different movie.
adds to my
and
box office
then we'll go.
numbers.
Well, I have an honorable mention for this year. The Suicide Squad with
Is that the second one?
Yeah.
yeah.
Super confusing that they just named them Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
But-
I think it's yeah, the house
The Fast
of
and the
DC.
Furious. Fast and Furious. Fast too Furious.
Yeah. It's definitely obviously it's been in disarray, but I think that movie coming out
It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
my
it's
favorite
fun.
scene is the beach scene.
Yeah,
I feel like it definitely gives us something
Okay.
that like most superhero scenes
Yeah.
never give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets something new, you
I
know.
watched that at your house.
There's a lot of good in that movie, I think. Definitely not enough for me to say that it was the best movie of the year, but it's definitely like you get to see new characters that most people aren't familiar with. You get to see Starro, which is like the first Justice League villain, so that's cool.
I think also though, just because you have the ability to use new characters doesn't mean you have to. Like, it didn't have to be Ratcatcher 2. You could have picked. That would not have been my choice at the end of the day. I know that they're trying to like hit some different people.
Well, the Suicide Squad is supposed to be like these, like Lex Luthor is not on the Suicide Squad.
I just feel like for a movie though, I want to see like a cooler, more cinematic power than like controlling rats. I get that it's fun.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely agree with that.
Like
yeah.
Polka Dot Man's power is cool.
Right. But
He's
yeah.
an unknown name too, but like cool looking power.
Yeah, and then like and Peacemaker and Bloodsport are both just like not powered, you know. They just use like technology and weapons and stuff.
Great cast though. I mean, Idris Elba, John Cena, the way they interact, the two of them, hilarious.
The way that Bloodsport's powers work in the comics too is more like crazy than it in the movie.
I'll also have to take your word for it. I gotta do some research. I guess.
Yeah, he from my memory he like pulls them from like a pocket dimension.
Oh, with the weapons?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But I don't know. I just thought it felt more put together than many of the recent DC movies.
Yeah.
You know.
So that wraps up 2021 for us. We're gonna go into the year 2023 or 2022. Like, I literally just said 2021. I just cannot count.
Yeah, this will be the last last year. See, I can't talk now either. Thanks, Andrew. This will be the last year that we go over. We have 2022 in 3, 2, 1.
The Batman.
I mean,
yeah.
The only doubt in my mind was that Zach might not pick the Batman. So all three of us picked the Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even have anything else listed.
I had Black Panther too.
That's fair.
Some
Yes.
people don't. I think that, like, I know when you and I have talked about it, you kind of weren't like impressed, but I think that
Andrew
movie.
hated that movie.
I don't know why.
I like that movie.
To
We
me-
left the theater, and I was with Sierra, his fiance, and my sister, and we were like talking about the movie. He had nothing nice to say about the movie.
Part of me wants to fight hated, but it's on the verge of hated. Didn't like the movie very much.
Yeah, you didn't have much nice to say.
I like that they went with Shuri. That's who I wanted to be Black Panther.
I agree.
And I like Namor as a villain a lot.
I also agree.
And then like the way they introduced the villains as like this horror aspect on the ship was great.
That was really cool.
I just think that they didn't keep up with that moving forward.
They should have kept that theme throughout the rest of.
Yeah.
Especially at the
It
end.
felt
where
like
kind
there
of
was
just-
a lot of like tonal shifts.
Well, it feels like a lot of MCU movies, like they get to write the first 2 acts of their movie, and then they're like, "Hey, producers, like, what do we have to put in the 3rd act in order to make it fit with the universe?" And they're like, "Here's what you need."
The
to
ending was very underwhelming.
Yeah, the ending was not that, and that's what leaves your main thought with the movie. So I didn't like the end fight scene. I like Namor a lot. I like the performance a lot. I think the underwater areas look really cool. We've talked about that on the show before.
I
Like,
disagree.
I think it looks cool how dark it is.
I think it looks boring.
Yeah, but that's all right, audience, everyone listening, that's coming from someone who likes Aquaman and how that looks.
Yeah,
so, like,
Aquaman's
take
cool.
everything he's saying about these underwater scenes with a grain of salt.
Aquaman looks cool.
We didn't even talk about Aquaman whatever year that came out. We didn't even give it its honorable mention.
True that, yeah. I feel like I didn't see it on the list, but maybe I'm sure I missed it. I was driving.
Pretty sure it was on there.
I definitely wouldn't have put it on my honorable mentions because I do not respect Aquaman the movie.
I think you guys are wild. There's definitely like with every movie, like you guys have heard me complain about the Batman movie, but with every movie there's going to be complaints. I even have complaints with Black Panther, too. There's lots of things that I wasn't like crazy about, but I think overall a lot of the characters really get to shine, like Shuri especially, but I feel like M'Baku shines in that movie.
I feel like Shuri, Shuri. Definitely, I'm glad she got her moment. I feel like Okoye could have shined without doing Proxima Midnight. Not Proxima Midnight. What is it? Something else.
Midnight Angels. I also, that's like they should that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
The Dora Milaje is elite enough, in my opinion, that they don't need this like ridiculous looking suit.
They were cooler when they didn't need.
I agree.
Absolutely. And then also the opening introduction, and that movie's introduction to the Dora Milaje is awesome. When they're like assaulting that like compound,
Yeah.
and then they like fight them all off. Epic.
The bridge fight's really cool too.
But let's talk about our actual pick for this year, which was The Batman.
The Batman.
One of the best superhero movies of all time.
This is
Possibly one of the best movies.
This is my favorite movie right now. Like,
Are we
I don't
Top
know,
Gun Maverick?
I really like that one a lot too.
I know,
But
yeah.
I think yes, I would have it over Top Gun Maverick. But I really do like Top Gun Maverick a lot.
Zach just picked this movie this year because there wasn't any
Nothing else.
like
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Black Panther I think would be a viable pick, but I feel like the Batman movie is better. It's, I don't know, I like it a lot. I do like it a lot, and you guys have heard me kind of go back and forth on like justifying why I like it and justifying why I don't like it. We've talked about it quite a bit, but I need to rewatch it for sure because I've still only seen it the one time. But I don't know. For me, it's just like I don't know. I just don't. When it comes to like that, I don't know. It just doesn't really do it all the way for me. But it's definitely good.
It's very, very artistic approach, clearly inspired by the Dark Knight trilogy, clearly inspired by some of the best Batman comics, like Batman Year One. It's so good. Like the fixed angle camera work, the lighting, the way that they strap the camera to like the cars, and the way they had the POV shots all over the movie, but especially for like the gliding scene and the car chase.
I feel like
it's so good.
I love the story, but I also love how they made the movie so much, and I think that's why
The tech
it's
behind
my
it's
favorite
awesome.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know for sure that you and I have talked about my viewing experience for the Batman, and maybe that's why I kind of have like a negative feeling about it.
Saw it in the
sometimes.
same theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but for me, I was like hot that day, and
Exactly. You're
it was-
every day.
Thank
Look
you,
at that
thank
stash.
you, thank
bro.
you, thank you.
Come on.
But it was just like
Type in the comments if you also think Zach.
Someone's gonna be mad. But yeah, I don't know. It just like the movie's really dark, so I feel like I had a hard time seeing it, and also the exit sign I felt like was so bright that I was like, I don't know. It just I didn't really
the exit
enjoy.
sign was pretty close to the screen. I'll give you that.
I
But
did enjoy
it was
watching
casting a red light, and the movie's basically
Mostly red.
red the entire time.
That
so
is true.
For me, it didn't matter.
It was bothering me that day, but
Zach's like, the theater was 1 degree below the temperature I usually like.
yeah.
And I had a hangnail that day.
I remember you saying a lot that the screen was blurry to you too.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably because of the camera work and like with
Yeah.
the bokeh.
Yeah.
The like
And like the type of lens that they had too, like it like infringed the sides, so like only the center was like in focus.
it's like
so,
not you.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
Hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's a Kevin joke, I guess.
yeah, I don't get it.
Like how you use like the kid show, like the edges of the whole show were like white.
It had a V-neck white.
Yeah.
around
it wasn't drawn in. It was lazy as hell.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, I see what you're saying.
But the Batman, the performances are stellar. The cast is stacked. The movie, like some of the best fight scenes. It's gritty. There's some long takes. It's
The best
amazing.
Catwoman we've seen. Come on.
I agree. Yeah, and
Zach,
Hathaway's kind
you
of
don't?
a saltine as a Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the best one.
Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman is really good. I mean, the Penguin, Colin Farrell, I love him.
Phenomenal.
Paul Dano is the Riddler.
His aesthetics too are really cool. Like I don't think they're as good as Ben Affleck's, but his car is amazing.
The suit is sick.
The way the
I love
Batcave
that. I
looks
love
too is really cool.
But just the way they filmed it, the shots that they
Best
took.
Gotham we've seen live action.
Yeah, agree. The Gotham.
It's got a lot of the best.
Yeah.
That we've seen in live action, and that's saying something because Nolan movies are so high up there.
The writing's just really good. Also, I like the mystery, and I was begging for a Batman story, detective story, chasing a serial killer, and they literally did that. Like, I know I never get exactly what I want like that, in terms of media.
Yeah. I've told you guys this before, but I hope that the Batman 2 will make me like it more because
Yeah.
God, I hate hearing that. How
I
could
know.
you even say that?
dude,
I hope that the Batman 2 makes me like it more.
I don't like
It's
Bruce
already
Wayne. I
so
don't.
good.
I don't like.
phenomenal.
I don't like his relationships with Alfred. I don't know, man. It's just there's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's a weak point. I can agree with that.
And to me, and not even just his relationship with Alfred, but him as Bruce Wayne. Like, it just isn't. I don't know, man. It just doesn't do it for me.
I love that it was like a Bruce Wayne origin, and that we got to see more of Batman, and now we get to see him, hopefully in the next movies, like learn how to balance the two sides of his like personality of his life.
I definitely need to rewatch
like,
this.
We get to see more of Bruce Wayne in the future.
90% under the cowl, which is like a huge
what I want.
I agree. I do
Batman.
agree.
The movie's called Batman, not Bruce Wayne. So it's like if you have beef with his Bruce Wayne, it's not that much of the movie. Like he's so good in the Batman suit.
Yeah.
It's like Andrew Garfield in the Spider-Man suit level of good.
Yeah, phenomenal.
It's
movie.
definitely like when he steps into the scene. I know I keep looking at the
he just
poster.
looks so
He does
menacing.
look awesome.
Like, look at the
presence.
I don't like the bat. I don't like his symbol. Like, I don't know. There's just lots of little things that
I like it more than Ben Affleck.
I didn't like it that
for
much
sure.
originally.
I
I like it more than Ben Affleck. For sure.
just don't like it.
Ben
If it was
Affleck doesn't even look
connected-
like a bat. It looks like a square.
That doesn't either.
His Ben Affleck's
That
a
looks
fat
like a
one.
bat. What do you
If
think
it was
looks like?
connected, I think it'd be better.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like they were like, oh, well, we got to use the gun, and it was like,
No,
I don't know.
that I think is fan theory. That I saw an interview where they asked them about that, and they were like, "Yeah, well, we didn't really have that in mind, but after somebody said it, we were like, oh, that sounds cool, but that's not really how we."
Yeah.
For what?
The creators, like the production designers, did not design it to be made from the gun that Joe Chill used to kill his parents. That's like a fan theory slash
Gotcha.
like
Yeah.
concept.
Gotcha.
I would have liked it if it was connected more, but that's nitpicky. I'm also not super, super crazy about his cowl.
It has utility. I'm sorry, I'm still on the bat symbol. He
Yeah.
can use it at night.
I know.
It's awesome. So cool.
I don't
I
disagree.
love this cowl too. If we're moving on to that,
I'm not crazy about
I think
it.
it looks super cool.
I just hope that we see.
I think it's much better than Christian Bale's.
I like how expressive the cowl is.
The cowl?
Yeah.
Well, Christian Bale's cowl has like a goatee to it, which is kind of when you go back, it's a little not my favorite.
It seems like very stiff,
Well,
It's a lot more expression.
Yeah.
A lot more acting. A lot more
I like that you
jawline.
get to see the whole jawline on.
Dude's
on his
dude's
suit.
got the most killer jawline in
Yeah.
show business.
Yeah.
his suit is really cool. I just hope to see it changed. Like his Batman.
It better not change too much.
His Batman suit is like or his what do you want to call it, like Christian Bale's Batman Begins suit is inferior to this first movie suit. Like, this one's better, but I don't know, I just want to see it look, I don't know, to me it's too like, and I get this is what they're going for, but it's so slapped together. I want to see it like come together,
I feel like it looks made, but it also looks very like well
Legit.
made.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like trim it down a little bit maybe.
I love the actual boot. Like the boots are so
Yeah,
combat boots.
I don't know if I finished my thought, but yeah, when he steps into the crime scene and it's like, you can like, his steps are like,
Dude, he's like, I said
Beats the song,
in the
yeah.
other episode, I said he's like a tank when he steps onto the scene to fight those guys. Just slowly, it's like, I'm here. He doesn't sneak up on them. Just
Yeah.
those heavy steps. And then in the trailer, when he steps into the crime scene, that was like where I thought, this movie's something else. I cannot wait to see
Yeah.
this. I will sell my liver to get tickets to the movie.
Yeah, I love this movie. We did a full episode on this, and it was an hour and 45 minutes long.
So same length as this episode because we
that
just
was
talked
episode
about one movie.
48. We went in depth on this movie.
And I could
definitely need to watch this again. That's for sure.
I could talk about this movie for another hour and 45 minutes and do a
Yeah.
part 2 episode because
Yeah.
there's so many good aspects to it. I couldn't stop singing its praises. The story is so good.
The scene, not the opening scene, because the opening scene is like from the Riddler's point of view, but it's one of the earlier scenes where it's like cutting to all these different crimes happening,
Yes.
and he's like doing a voiceover,
The narration, yeah.
and
It's
really
like
good.
even as the viewer, it's like you feel that like intensity of like
where is
which
he?
shadow is
Yeah.
he in, which people is he gonna like, which crime is he gonna stop?
I'm genuinely afraid.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is he hiding in the shop? I'm like, wait, I'm not a criminal.
No Batman has ever like made me feel like that before. So yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely positives of the movie, but for me there's just like too many things that I'm like
See, it just hurts that you're saying this about like my favorite movie.
yeah.
And you also like Love and Thunder and Thor Ragnarok so much.
I don't-
It's like,
I like Thor Ragnarok a lot. Thor Love and Thunder, no,
Okay.
not so much. I totally hate the whole Mjolnir.
Every movie that we watch, and the fact that you have so many like negative things to say about this movie, it's like
I know.
What's going on here, man? Like that is one of your favorite characters.
Love Batman.
Maybe it's like the same thing you said about the Joker.
It's like you love Batman so much it makes it easier for you to be more critical of it.
Maybe one thing that I super love about Batman is like the Bat family, and I know that this version of Batman is not ever going to have like the Bat family.
Was that stated?
How do you know?
Or you just don't feel like it fits.
I feel like it's not going to fit. Like he already is like younger, right? So if he does have Robin, it's going to have to be like a kid, and it feels like that version of Bruce Wayne is not going to be palling around with a 14-year-old.
Also, you have to think too, like they're not making these movies back to back. You know, like they're taking their time. I mean, when's the next one come out? 2025, 2026 maybe, if it gets pushed back, you know, like
hopefully we're past that.
That's some years in between, you know?
Yeah.
Like maybe we don't get an introduction to any of the Bat family next one, but what about the one after that? You know, like
it's possible.
I
it's
think
definitely
this
possible.
fits more than like maybe the DCEU right now, you know? Or
well,
like the new DCEU.
It's its own thing. It's standalone, you know? But I think that things are going to change. Like even though the Batman 2 and Joker 2 is happening, I think that there's still going to be like stipulations, you know, like I don't think James Gunn's going to be like, yeah, do the Bat family in the Batman, and we're also going to do Batman Brave and Bold where the Bat family is established, you know? I don't know. For me, Batman, I like one of the main things is his relationship with Dick Grayson.
Maybe they'll get to explore more villains and stuff that the DCU can't.
Yeah, I like his relationship with Dick Grayson and with Alfred, so I definitely hope the sequel kind of repairs some of the damage to the relationship with Alfred.
Yeah.
Like we got introduced to quite a few villains in this movie, but it was all balanced really well.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's kind of maybe another thing is like
Falcone,
to me,
Maroni, we got the Penguin, we got
The Joker,
we got that one's like,
I mean honorable mention,
and then of course the Riddler.
Yeah. Well, I also don't like that one, like Batman and the Riddler like don't even really interact. Like
I think it's cool.
It is, and I do see like the appeal to it, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, like Batman like kind of didn't even really stop him.
It's very much like a serial killer mystery, you know, like how often does the detective actually interact with the serial killer, you know?
We talked about it in our actual episode, but he does solve it in time in order to get to the location where he needs to be to stop the ultimate plan. Because everybody, although he doesn't stop the seawall being exploded, he gets into the building where everyone was going to be shot like fish in a barrel and takes out all those guys. So he saves like hundreds of lives. So he's still very, like his solving of the mystery was still very timely for that. And also like...
And those followers were like extensions of the Riddler, kind of like Ultron in a way.
If you think about every clue he's looking at and deciphering as him interacting with the Riddler, he actually interacted with the Riddler a lot, just not face to face.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it, because I feel like that's fitting to the Riddler. Like the Riddler's not going to show up to Batman's front door. You know, he's going to be.
And we didn't get to see him like fight the Riddler, but we got to see plenty of other awesome fights.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think they played it really well. I mean, I definitely think there could be improvements, and I initially thought very similar to you that like, well, he kind of lost, but then I've come to think more of it that he won, especially with, you can see how frustrated the Riddler is.
Yeah. To me too, like
the news story. Yeah.
Falcone and Maroni and all these guys, like, in my opinion, these guys are like small fish, you know? And like the Rogues Gallery is who I want to see.
Well, maybe you need to spend more time on the streets and less time flying above them.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what's that from? Justice League. That's a Batman line. If you guys didn't know, so
I've heard it before, but I'm having really a hard time placing on where I've heard it.
Says it's a Superman and Wonder Woman, an animated movie. I just can't recall which one. But I think that these like street level criminals make really good Batman villains. Like I wanted to see Zaz. That's what I was campaigning for before the Riddler.
And Zaz is like a Rogues Gallery, though. He's not Carmine Falcone. Like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know?
But Batman,
to me, it's Batman. It's Batman. So for him to just like take on the mob is like, I don't know, a little underwhelming in my opinion.
the point that this movie makes and that the Dark Knight movie makes, which both come from inspiration, I think, from The Long Halloween and more so from Batman Year One, is that like the organized crime in Gotham City is the reason that Batman has to exist, because without that corruption, he could just let the police do their jobs. But because of the corruption, he has to create an entity outside the law. So I think that's why it's fitting for the origin.
And you're definitely right, and I. Yeah,
It kind of feels
I can get
fitting for the
behind that,
character
sure.
too, because like
The
Batman-
organized mob killed his family.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Batman like technically doesn't have any superpowers,
Mm-hmm.
and in this movie, it all feels like kind of like okay, I
This is
see that in
hands
reality,
down the most
you know, like-
realistic Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, would I love to see him fight Clayface and do some like flipping around.
Yeah,
It might not fit for this universe, but I would love
Yeah.
to see a Batman on the screen do something.
So
like
maybe
that.
we'll get to see like maybe that's where they'll like draw the line, you know, from like we
James
have
Gunn will have that.
right, exactly.
I hope one thing I hope with all this shuffling going on at DC is I hope they do give him a trilogy, because I really want to see this like play out to like and of course I'm sure they don't have every single step of the way planned right now, but I'd like to see where it ends up. You know, I don't want it to be like
I don't
okay,
know.
it's
I don't
done
know if
after
this
the
is
Batman 2.
true or accurate to like what's actually happening, but I've seen like posters and like announcements and stuff of it like taking place in winter for this next
Yeah, I
one.
think
Dude,
those
I
are
just want you
fan
guys
made.
to know that
That's
when,
really cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
when I see the fan made covers for Batman where the color scheme is changed
It's
from red to
blue,
blue,
yeah.
I have to run 10 miles just to run off the steam of the excitement of this second movie. That's how good this movie is.
Yeah.
Is my excitement for the second one is like my heart is pounding
Oh my God.
with excitement for the next movie to come out. I do hope they give him a
How long
trilogy
is this
also.
movie?
The movie
2 hours and 40 something minutes.
I want to try to rewatch it.
yeah,
soon.
no, I think you're right. It's 2 hours like 49 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
It's tough for me to find that space, but I'm going to try to squeeze it in here in the next week.
There are some spots where you can like
2
fast
hours
forward,
and
like 2 minutes,
56
3
minutes. 2 hours and 56 minutes.
That's
So
right,
part of
yeah.
that's credits,
Yeah.
obviously, at the end. So
Cool. Well, I definitely like this movie.
I'm glad that we got a chance to sit around and pick all of our favorite movies for the last 13 years.
yeah, we got to have the Batman Part 2 episode within this
Yeah,
one, too.
Yeah, right.
We talked about that one for probably 30 minutes or 20 minutes there.
Yeah.
But you were saying, like, this is one of our longest episodes. So I looked back through our YouTube page, Backseat Directing. I found, I think, 3 other episodes that are, like, right around the same length as this one. This one might be a little bit longer now. But we had the Batman episode, which was episode 48, where we talked about the movie that we were just talking about.
What movie was that?
The Batman. And then right before that one, we had an hour and 48-minute episode, and that's where we went over like 2022 in recap for movies and shows. That was episode 47. And then our like the third longest one was actually with Zach, and that
Hey.
was the fight
Batman.
scene draft.
Yeah.
And that was an hour and 37 minutes long.
We just always
So-
get to
I
talking a
can
lot.
talk, man.
Yeah.
When it's the three of us,
About
we get to
superheroes?
talking a lot.
I mean, we
Talk
had
all
such a
night.
broad topic for this episode too. Like, it definitely sparked a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like we've been in here for 2 hours,
Right.
you know. But
There's
we have.
definitely more to that we could have said about every movie that we talked about. You know,
we could do a whole episode.
Zach, for the next episode, if we don't like come up with a debate or something, I want to do an Invincible episode.
yeah,
you want to
man,
be on that
I
one?
love Invincible.
Yeah, like we did an Invincible episode. It was like one of our first ones, you know.
we'll-
So like,
and we're
we
gonna-
could totally redo it, talk about some of the same things, talk about some new things, you know.
We
Like,
definitely need to. And we'll also,
Yeah.
we should, in reference to this topic, we should do an episode on each year's worst superhero movie.
yeah.
And we'll talk about what made them
Yeah.
not work.
Thor, Love and Thunder, baby, here I come.
With Invincible too.
Aaron's like sharpening his knives
Yeah.
right now, waiting for that episode.
Yeah.
I'm
Invincible.
gonna also have
Eventually.
Wonder Woman on both.
It's the only movie I've seen.
Aaron was just in a pod.
This is my revenge.
In that, what year was that? 2020 or 2021?
2020,
That
yeah.
Aaron was in a pod that year and just
Yeah, it was
urged to
called
watch
COVID.
Wonder Woman.
Jeez. Man.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming and joining
Hey,
us.
yeah, thanks for having
having
me.
this conversation with both of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that, like we talked about earlier, guys, follow us on all our social media pages. Check out our new episodes every Monday and Thursday. And we really appreciate everyone who listened. Thanks for taking this really long ride with us on this episode. It was a blast for us.
And that's a wrap.